So listen, he knew before he died, not significantly, because I don't claim a significant position. Hugo Chavez. He knew very clearly when he put up the referendum to be able to be president for life and all this kind of stuff. I immediately attacked that. I knew he'd gone off, but what he was originally, and this is not about him, but about the Venezuelans. What he started with in leadership, I think we actually talked about this on one of your other shows at one point, is you had literally 80% of the country had no national identity at all. No access to healthcare, no access to education, none, not bad education, no education. And so a person, call him Hugo Chavez, with a movement and prison time for a coup attempt where he was nearly killed. This is not just some, I hate America, I'm going to control my country like with an iron thumb guy. This is a guy who was himself a dreamer. And he gave people an identity. I was there and not with a minder.
Yeah, but what he didn't give them was food.
Okay. What he didn't give them, ultimately, the food crisis happened later under Maduro. And Maduro can be accused of being a dictator. He can be accused of being a bad manager. He's certainly
the inflation rate under your boyfriend Chavez was something like 27,000%.
I will tell you very clearly that Hugo Chavez was my friend. However, your boyfriend, Hugo Chavez, is not an applicable term. He was my friend, and he was in a position, fortunately, neither of us have to be in, that he found himself in, that he pursued. Any head of state is a bad job to me. You got to decide if I'm going to put U.S. troops on the ground and sacrifice them, or use a drone that maybe kills extra babies.
Your friend ran a country that had enormous oil revenues that somehow never got to the people, because socialism is the economic program where the money does get to the people, except, of course, when it doesn't.
But that isn't exactly what happened.
Well, what exactly happened to all the oil money?
Here's one thing. I can give you cash.
Thank you.
Here's from oil.
Okay.
Right?
Take it.
Or I can make it cost $1.50 for you to fill your tank. The traffic in I'm not celebrating this as a good policy, but he was giving away oil to the people. They owned it just like he did. That's a fact.
You mean the actual oil? So they all have to fucking sell the oil?
They were working with the Iranians for infrastructure, all kinds of things we can take pause on.
You can't really be defending him from being corrupt with the oil money. I mean, really? Because, and by the way, he's hardly alone in the world. There are many dictatorial countries where the top guy, there's a number, Gabon, I think, is one in Africa, Equatorial Guinea, where you find, and of course they always have a son who's like 28, and he's on Instagram, like doing crazy things with money that they got from stealing the oil revenue from the people.
I'm not going to speak for or against him on his personal corruption in terms of that. Certainly we know that's the case with Putin. But what I can speak for is that and my job there in Venezuela was not as an advocate for Chavez. It was to create the thing that you celebrate, which is skepticism about the way in which the U.S. demonizes.
What do you mean your job there? What was
my
your job?
As an American citizen, I felt it was my job to get across this reality, which was that here, if you have, and South America is strewn with these socialist leaderships that have been intervened upon by American policy and by American intelligence agencies in such an aggressive way that, let me make the point.
I'm not arguing that's it's a true thing.
An aggressive way to the point where we were supporting dictators in Chile who were electrocuting the genitals of people.
And another true thing is that other people in the world have the same thing happen to them and get over it at some point, or more quickly. Maybe some people just do things more quickly.
Again, this is not as an apologist for Chavez's policies this way, or his decision-making process. But his decision-making process is one we should study, because when you have no trust and when you feel, and you have good reason to believe that the U.S. is trying to kill you because we had done it before with Pinochet. And
yeah,
so
he was a bad dude.
He was a bad dude, and we supported him, with Kissinger's money.
Che Guevara was a bad dude.
Well, again, I wasn't there. I think there are things about Che Guevara that are to me quite alluring. He's not Elvis Presley.
He's definitely not.
But I think he's a believer.
But he's on as many T-shirts.
But again, for example, let's go to Giuliani.
Giuliani.
Can we agree that there was 10 minutes where Giuliani represented more leadership than the White House did?
When 9/11. When he did 9/11.
There were 10 minutes where you and I said, oh, wow. So what I'm saying about Chavez is his original 10 minutes meant something that we've not been willing to look back on.
Here's what I would say about Giuliani. He did, certainly when he was mayor of New York during that crisis, did a fine job. And I would always give him credit for that. But my question about that is sort of the same thing I've always thought about Captain Sullenberger. Remember who landed the plane?
Sullenberger,
yeah, who again did a fine job. My question, as opposed to what? I hit the Empire State Building, or you tell me that the World Trade Center's been hit, and I say I've got a meeting in the other room. I mean, no,
two completely different things.
No, they did well, but they were like.
No, you can't compare.
Of course, they're different.
No, but let me look. What is the significant difference that makes me moved by Sully Sullenberg?
I'm moved too.
Is that he put in the 10,000 hours on a skill set, not on a vanity set.
Okay.
On a blusterous leadership set, and I'm going to take on the mafia because I need your attention.
Your Oscar.
No,
put it on the mantle with the other ones.
He put in the fucking hours. And you hear it.
Yes,
you hear it when he's on the radio, and he did that for us.
Hey, straw man isn't here. I don't hate Sully Sullenberger. I'm saying he did a great thing. He did it great. He threw a fucking 40-yard pass, zinged it right in there, and they got the score. But it was 4th and 18. What else would? He kind of had to do that.
Look, but we would agree. But we would agree that charisma, arrogance is charisma in America, and when it's in harmony with America at a moment, like Giuliani was, he's going to have a high point despite himself. Sully Sullenberg is going to have a high point no matter what.
I'll be at the Kiva Auditorium in Albuquerque.
Let me read that. I'm not even ending the show.
Hey, thanks for watching the clip. Hit the subscribe button now so you never miss out on our Club Random content that's posted daily.